Yo, what's up, guys? I'm here with my friend Pierre. Welcome to Dubai, bro.
Thanks for having me, bro.
So we're gonna basically be talking about what it's like being in online business at a young age in our 20s, and basically gonna be sharing different stories, different experiences. So, Pierre, do you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Pierre Koutani. I'm the CEO of Saber Supplements, one of the co-founders. If you know us from Twitter, you know me for sure. You've seen my stuff, but you've also seen my partner, Reese, as well as Jacob and Closing USD, who some of you might know as Tom. We started Saber, signed up the company August 2023, but we officially launched it January 2024, and we sell one product. It's a great product. Since then, I've been traveling the world, meeting people like Hassan with my boys, and we're just doing whatever we can to scale the company. Honestly, it's been great living a super free lifestyle and just want to grow the company to 9 figures. And Hassan's hosting me currently in Dubai. Most hospitable person I've ever met. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So what would you say is the top 3 best things about having your own supplement brand, your own online business? Different struggles, different challenges, but also the main top 3 things.
The best thing for sure about a supplement company or owning any type of health and wellness brand is that you don't have to sacrifice your health to grow the business. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk my shit right here. I'm one of the most athletic people on the fucking app of Twitter. And there's a lot of health posters on Twitter. Now, granted, Instagram, whatever, you have a lot of people that are like fitness only and the bar is a little bit higher. But last year I was able to take a boxing fight on 6-7 weeks notice and won very easily. I've been top 1% in every single lift since I was like 18 years old. Right now I'm on a calisthenics arc. I've done years of calisthenics training and condensed it into a couple months. And I do that all while running my company. So I can train and get paid for training. I love training and now I have good health versus another person that might be making millions of dollars, but he has shit health. What's the worst? What's the point of making millions of dollars if you're fucking gonna have a heart attack when you turn 30, 35, 40? So that's the number 1 best thing. Number 2 best thing I'd say is the ceiling is high as fuck for supplements. Like you can clean up if you do it right and you're following the correct process, you're not selling boof shit, you can make 8-9 figures a month in supplements, right? It's a long-term goal, but you can. Third best thing that I'd say is you genuinely help people, right? Like you're getting a physical product. Here are the ingredients. It's gonna make you feel this way. You might need that to operate at 100%, and you're giving people what they need at the end of the day. Versus some other person might be pushing some sort of scam to people, and it's like not the best karma. You know what I mean?
100%. Awesome. And what gave you the idea to do it with your friends? Reese is sat over here, Tom, Jacob, all these different people. What gave you the idea?
It's actually perfect. This is a fucking lesson for sure. What gave us the idea to start Saber? There was no fucking idea. DK goes, hey, do you guys want to start a supplement company? Within the fucking minute, I said yes, and within the day, the LLC was set up and signed up. That's how we did it. I feel like that's how you should approach most things. I don't feel like, we talked about this a lot today, where it's just like doing more. But that's what it comes down to. It's like, okay, I could start this. Okay, this is a great idea. Let's do this. Let's set this up next week. Why? This podcast wasn't supposed to happen till tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're like, fuck it, we can record it tonight. We found an opening.
It was like 9:45 when I was just thinking, shall we do the podcast? And then we booked this podcast, I think, for 10:15 or 10:30.
Yeah.
Quickly got changed, had to drive over here. Just everything, speed. Do it today. Don't delay to tomorrow. So
Yeah, 100%.
that's our business principles.
Even on the way here, I don't know if you want this mentioned, but on the way here, we're like, okay, we got to get to the studio at 10:30. We don't know if there's parking at the studio. This guy parks his car in the middle of the street and throws the keys at somebody.
Yeah, so the valet, there's only like 2 or 3 valet drivers in the building I'm in, and there's like a whole bunch of cars just basically in the way. And I was thinking, I'm not waiting. Like, I got this podcast to do. I can't be late. I got to just do more. So I just leave it in the middle of the road. Otherwise, I'd have been going around in circles, waiting for a valet driver to come. No one was going to take the car off me. Just leave it in the middle of the road. Now it's their mess to deal with. So that applies to everything in life. Sometimes you have to just force your will onto certain situations. You have to be calling the podcast studio saying, I need an appointment right now. 2 podcast studios reject us. Then we do the 3rd one. Message all my people. Say, yo, find me a podcast studio. Quickly. It's urgent. The more you force the pace and the more you try and actually get things done right now, the more successful you're going to be. Imagine you didn't say yes to that supplement brand when you said yes. You waited 2 weeks. Then the other guy might have changed his mind. Then Reese might have been like, nah, I'm not really feeling it, because maybe he went on a family holiday to fucking Hawaii. Yeah. And now he's thinking he's on a more spiritual path of life. You have to just, everything's better right now. You know?
100%. I will say that's probably one of the things that I've taken away just hanging out around you. Like you want to be around people where you can take things away from them. For
sure.
You're learning in some way, shape, or form. That doesn't mean they have to be more successful than you per se, but you need to be able to learn from the people around you. Bro, in the car, he's like, need somebody to record something for us. He's like, stop doing what you're doing. You're recording for us today. And then when the taxi driver's like, we need to go here. No, we go there right now. He's just forcing the pace on absolutely
You have
everything.
to.
There's not a
how
down
you do
moment.
one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
I've had arguments actually about this with my brother. That's the only thing we disagree on. It's about this topic about forcing the pace. He'll be like, so when we lived on the Palm last year, we needed to fix the air conditioning for the gym. Otherwise, it's just too hot to train. And he's like, I've called the air conditioning people. They said it's going to take 2 weeks. I said, no. It doesn't take 2 weeks. There'll be someone in this city of 5-6 million people who can get the AC installed today. Like, I really believe if there's a will, there's a way. I guarantee you there's some dude in this city, this whole city, who could just install an AC system and I'll pay them some money, no problem.
Yeah.
So when you have that mindset, it extrapolates to everything and you realize you can get everything done within a few hours if you just attack. And especially a city like Dubai. Groceries can come in 10, 15 minutes. Anything. Drinks, food, anything.
100%.
So that's why I love the city. You can solve problems quickly.
100%. And like the crazy part is I know a lot of that, but it's not about yes or no. It's like you can always do more of it.
Yeah.
So I realize with you that you just do that so much. Like I can easily do that more and it'll accelerate the pace of my business like a lot. Now, this is something that I talk with the boys about as well. Like Reese, my partner, he's the best at generating traffic, in my opinion. For how long he's been doing it, for the amount of followers that he has, he's the best at generating traffic. We work extremely well as a team because I can facilitate certain things to help him generate more traffic. Super talented. But sometimes we'll talk about, yo, how are we going to get this done? He'll be like, well, I think we'll do that next week. And I'll be like, no, bro, let's fucking figure out how to do this today.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why we work well together at the end of the day, because I couldn't generate the same traffic.
Yeah.
But also he wouldn't be able to push the pace as fast as he can without somebody trying to help him as much as possible in that regard. We're like, no, we can get this video out today. Same thing with Jacob. Jacob's our marketer. He's fucking great at marketing. But a lot of times he'll be like, all right, here's what I have planned for the next 6 weeks. On week 6, we're going to do this to the landing page. Who fucking knows what
You're dead in 6 weeks. You could be dead. Yeah,
we
you
won't
can't think like that.
You see what I'm saying? And it's not any shade, obviously. Like, these motherfuckers have taken Saber to immense heights. Wouldn't be able to do it without them. That's just what I try to add to them as a team member. You know what I mean? And I do think it's important to have people around you that add shit to you. So
100% agree, man. I just think with everything in life, the more you have the mindset of we have to do it today, not tomorrow, not next week, the more successful you'll be. And in some cases, you actually can't solve the problem today. Some things actually do take some time, right? Like it does take 9 months to make a baby.
Yeah.
But if you want a baby, you might as well start making a baby tonight, you know?
Yeah.
If something's gonna take 9 months anyway, then just start now.
Yeah.
So I think when you start thinking, how can I make it as quick as humanly possible? Even if it's gonna take 1 week, 1 month, 2 years, whatever, the best time to start is now. So
Yeah.
I just believe with everything, the more you force your will onto the universe, the more successful you'll be with every situation. Another thing that I really believe in, which most people don't do in business, I believe in phone calls. A lot of people believe in texting, like, oh, they'll respond when they want. Like, no. The people you work with, you should obviously be able to call them whenever and solve the problem. If you text someone, they'll reply to it when they want to reply. If it's important, you need to call your people and solve the problem. I didn't message the cameraman earlier today and said, yo, are you free? Because then he's going to say, not really, depends on the... No, show him your conviction, show him your energy, your urgency. Like, bro, we need you free tonight, huge opportunity. What did I tell him? I have 2 big guys from America, huge opportunity. You know, I was just hyping it up as well. Like, you have to put a sell on everything.
Yeah.
If I'm going to sit here and wait for him to say, bro, I have a family dinner tonight, I don't care about his family dinner. Like, I want what I want now, you know? It has to be now.
somebody's getting what they want. He wants to eat dinner with his family. You want him to record videos. The guy goes, yeah, man, I'll be free on Wednesday. And he's like, that's not happening. You got to be free tonight. And it's like, okay. And the guy goes, okay, fine.
But here's the thing as well. Some people watching this might be like, yeah, but what about if he's not actually free? Well, if he's actually not free, let's say his mum is giving birth to his new brother about to be, right? Newborn brother. Well, then, okay, we'll find someone else. But the point is 99% of the time when they can't do something, it's because of some bullshit artificial reason.
Yeah.
So when you start forcing your will onto the universe, you realize nothing can actually stop you. There's no obstacles. What's that saying that says, I can't remember who it was, maybe it was Napoleon. He says, there shall be no Alps for Napoleon's army. And I love that quote so much because there's no such thing as any problem, man.
Yeah. You fuck with Napoleon heavily.
Yeah, I like Napoleon a lot because arguably they say he was the greatest war strategist ever. So
he was. He won 55 battles total, and I think the second most battles won is like 19 or something. Like he's clearly the best. Not the fucking goon on history. Do we cuss or do we censor it out?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I actually
I
don't
won't
know.
cuss anymore for that. Yeah, you have the other quote that's super good. The moral is to the
Physical is 3 is to 1.
Yeah.
And that's basically this whole point, which is people think, even with like a supplement brand, they might think, oh, you might need $1 million to start that. You need to be Mr. Olympia to start a supplement brand, or you need to be a professional fighter or a UFC champion. Like, you don't. You need a few people who go gym with good energy, with good passion for fitness, for example, who just say, okay, we want to build a company. Okay, how do we supply this product? Okay, here's our supplier. How do we market this? Okay, you guys start tweeting, you start talking shit, you start making some noise. Like, you just need the energy. You need the morale. You need the determination. And what Napoleon was basically saying is, the determination and the will to win is 3 times more important than the actual physical reality of, are you Mr. Olympia? Are you a professional footballer? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All that matters is how much do you want to win.
100%.
If you want to win, you'll find a way to find a supplier.
100%.
You'll ask your mums, friends, cousins, sisters, dogs, cat. Like, you'll find a way.
Should I say this then? Oh man, Saber started with 15 grand, right, of
Nice.
my own money. So now I'm talking about Saber lore that hasn't been fucking disclosed. Let me stop saying the F word. I'm talking about Saber lore that hasn't been disclosed. $15,000 of my own money. Okay. Now, as we go, we put in our first orders for inventory. We do all the legal work that we need to set up the company. I won't disclose what happened. We needed to come up on $50,000.
Okay.
Okay. Fair enough. We could have forked it over or pooled it together. All I will say is we had $50,000 within 2 hours, and we dumped it into whatever we needed to dump it into.
Yeah.
I won't disclose too much of behind the scenes because it involves other people's business that I don't know if they want me to talk about. We gathered $50,000 in 2 hours. At this point, nobody put in their personal funds, investor cash, and it was like, okay, who do we call? This person will react well. That person will react well. And then at some point, we had too much, but it was just like we know people, and we just like go ahead, we can make it happen, and we did. Because you don't want to be 50,000 down in your own cash before the business is even launched. This is before launch, right? So, yeah, I heavily agree. You could just push the envelope on as many things as you want, and it'll happen. Like, bro, I didn't even know podcast studios opened at 10:30. I mean, we're in Dubai, but I've never been in a podcast studio at 10:30.
But this is the exact point I'm making, bro. So my friend says the podcast places close at 11, and I knew we couldn't make it for exactly 10. So the 10 till 11 slot would be just too short on time. I said, call a bunch more podcast studios. Most people will be like, oh, let's just do it tomorrow. We'll prepare what we're going to say. We've not prepared anything we're going to say. There's no notes here. There's no scripting. This is just us yapping and talking, right? What's on our mind. So you can just do more and just let the chips fall where they fall, as they say. You know, just do more. Worst case scenario, this podcast gets 5,000 views instead of 6,000 views, or instead of 20K. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We still give value to other people. We realize it's fun. Now we're more motivated to do another one. Maybe we'll do another one while you're here in Dubai. Who knows? We just do more, and then naturally that leads to other things. Whereas right now, say we hadn't booked this podcast studio, maybe we'd be sat at home like planning what we should do tomorrow. But that's just usually just talking about things you're going to do in the future is a waste of time. It's always better to pick up the phone, start dialing someone, follow up with clients, follow up with customers, run an ad, run a tweet, do a marketing campaign,
100%.
pitch for investors, get investors, you know? So
Yeah. You end up figuring out what's working and what's not. Like, this is a point that you made earlier today.
Yeah.
Everybody says progress takes forever. It actually doesn't. Like, I've tried a few different business models, and every time I had some sort of results within the first couple hours of doing it. And it's just like, are you going to keep pushing that pace? Certain stuff requires far more consistency to get to level 2, 3, 4, and 5. But at the end of the day, you get some feedback right when you start doing
Super
something.
quick, man.
And if you're not, you're just not going fast enough.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Super true. I always use this example. I used it earlier when we were talking at lunch. But if you start eating 10,000 calories a day, you're going to instantly gain weight. Obviously, you're going to get fat, a lot of water weight, but you're going to instantly gain weight. Your body will instantly change. Just like if you start eating 300 calories a day, your body's going to instantly change. You're going to get smaller. You're going to shrivel up. So everyone knows with your body instantly changes. But with money, with business, with relationships, they don't think it can instantly change. If you start forcing the pace on every area of your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's booking a podcast studio, getting the air conditioning guy to install the air conditioning system, getting the $50,000 you need, you'll realize your whole life can change in 1 week.
Yeah, no, 100%. Bro, regarding the fitness stuff as well, like, a lot of people are limited in that regard because they're like, oh, there's a certain cap to how much you can grow in a day or a week. Oh, my metabolism is slow. The same thing that you said earlier where they just make artificial reasons why stuff can't happen.
Yeah.
But when I was the year 2019, the beginning 3 to 4 months, I gained almost 40 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, granted, I had some muscle memory returning from like a year or two before that, and then I had lost a lot of it because I was sick, so I rebounded pretty hard for half of it. But at the end of the day, I also did 15-ish pounds, a little bit more, in the last 3-4 months from the time filming this podcast. Bro, it is not that fucking hard. You train to failure and you eat as much as you can and you'll just gain weight. Same goes for losing weight. Stop fucking eating. Bro, I tell every fat person that I know, and I'm getting aggressive, but they're like, how do I do this? I'm like, bro, you should be hungry. Are you hungry right now? No, then you're capping. You know what I mean? Like, well, you can't, it's not the rocket science. Like,
But I don't think I really think the problem with most people isn't that they don't know how to do something. They might tell you that is the problem. They might lie to your face even. But the actual problem is they don't want to lose weight.
Yeah.
They don't want to gain weight. They don't want to lose weight. They don't want to make money. They don't want to start a supplement company. Because if they did, like we were talking earlier, they just put a message in their group chat and say, yo, let's just do this. Yo, let's start marketing this. There's so many ways to market products as well. We were talking about this earlier today at lunch, but no matter what business plan you have, you can genuinely make it work nowadays with the internet. There's so many ways to reach different kinds of clients. You can start a podcast, you can start live streaming, you can start tweeting, running an email list, do all 5 combined. Like, there's so many things you can do. People just want to make excuses. You can do podcasts while working out in the gym with your 3 best friends. You could do
100%.
fucking ice skating and get content and market some products. So people just don't want it, man.
yeah, I think that was a great point that you made earlier. Like, we were talking about fighting. And I was bringing up the point where, like, how low ROI fighting is. It's one of the most fun things that you can possibly do, but you're getting hit in the head and you're getting dumber. You're getting hit in the face. You might get a little uglier. It's intense training. It might make it harder to focus on your business, whatever. But then Hassan counters with a point that's basically like, okay, yeah, but you run a supplement company, right? And you really like fighting. Sure. So now all the gloves that you train with, Saber merch. All the t-shirts that you're training with, Saber. The ring has Saber on it. You're training in a gym with Saber merch everywhere. You're eating out of a bowl and it's a Saber bowl. You're filming you're filming everything. You make the content good and you sell Saber off the back of that if you wanted to, right? So there's nothing that's impossible. Really, you can gather traffic any way you want, and you can run any business you want. You could just combine those 2 strategies. You could be a boxer that sells supplements. You can be a drug dealer in Colombia. I don't know. Who knows? But it's completely up to you. You would just mix whatever strategies you want. If it doesn't work, you don't want it bad enough.
Yeah, like whatever you actually like doing, you can find a way to monetize that. You know, so that was just the point I was making. Like, if all you want to do is do jiu-jitsu, you can get a gi, like that thing they wear, and put your own company on it. You can start a influencer fighting promotion, right? You just say, okay, I'm going to be the new Dana White. You call 2 of your friends and say, you guys fight, here's a few $100s each. Don't try and kill each other because you're actually friends. Nice, like, spar, get the momentum going. Or you just find some dude off the street. It's probably better. See, I'm already coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
Here's $200. You fight this guy, winner gets $1,000. If you KO him in the first 20 seconds, $1,000 prize. Okay, short form content. You get your marketing guy to think of ideas. Okay, this guy, he can do a backflip. So after you knock this guy out, you do a backflip off the top rope. Now you look like Javonte Davis. And we tag Javonte Davis on Instagram. Maybe he reposts on his IG page. Who the fuck knows? But it's just action is momentum, and then it leads to something else. Then maybe after you've had the fight, the 2 fighters can do a podcast together and hug it out and say, oh, good fight, bro.
Yeah.
And then he trains this guy, the guy who won, and then it's just this whole content series, and all the whole time you're just promoting your company, whatever that company might be.
Yeah.
But people just think, no, that's not going to work. Maybe it doesn't get views. Yeah, maybe it doesn't, but it's better than sitting at home with your mom and looking at the ceiling thinking, what do I do for content? What do I do for money? Action is always better than inaction.
100%. Regarding action, what do you think really holds people back in that regard? Because, like, I see this point being made on a ton of podcasts. Like, I don't want to be redundant. Everybody's always like, take massive action, doing more gets you more. It's everything stacks up, etc. But, like, you can tell people that all fucking day, and a lot of times they won't do it. What do you think is the reason that they're not doing it? What's the missing? Do you think some people are just not going to make it?
I really believe it's just the people you hang around with, right? Like, would I have done a podcast today if you guys weren't here? Well, no. Who am I doing a podcast with right now, this second? The more you're around people who are similar to you and they think the same as you and they're on the same wavelength, naturally you're going to hold yourself to a higher standard. Earlier today, I saw you guys, you were doing the handstand stuff, the handstand push-ups. So I gave it a go. I never try handstands. And obviously I couldn't get a handstand, but I was trying. I was doing those exercises against the wall. Then I did the muscle-ups. I was barely going to try to do it because I haven't done them in ages. Then you said you saw me do that set of 10 before on Twitter. So I banged out like a set of 3 or 4 reps. So when you're around certain people, you're going to push yourself in different areas. If you're around people who are doing handstands, you're going to learn how to do handstands. Right? Like I'm sure if I spent more time with you guys, I'd do handstands pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If I spent more time with Jeff Bezos, I'd be more interested in e-commerce and big companies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you become who you spend the most time with.
True.
So I think if you want to take more action, spend more time with people who do naturally force the pace on everything.
Yeah.
The way you talk to taxi drivers, the way you talk to waiters, waitresses, it's all the same. Everything is correlated. So get a better environment. And 2, start having daily goals. I think that's a big, big one. Don't have this mindset of in 5 years we want our company, let's say, to be 100 mil. Like today, what are you guys doing to build your company? All right, you're doing this podcast, you talk about it, you do this, you do that. That's good. That's action today. So I think changing your mindset from in the future, I'm going to be this guy to right now, we're doing this and being locked in while we're doing this and setting shorter term goals.
I think the most toxic goal setting, kind of like mental masturbation thing that people do is that they set medium term goals. Because I think if you're taking a long term approach, that means you're committed and serious. You're ready to fucking thug it out as long as it takes. And I think if you're setting short-term goals, like daily goals, then that means you're serious about your day-to-day actions, which is how you get to that long-term goal.
Yeah, you do need both.
You see what I mean?
I think that you need, what I'm saying is like, for me, I don't have specific long-term goals, but just I know the overall direction I want to go in. And then I set daily goals to steer me in that right direction.
What I'm saying is, I think where people mess up really bad is they set like, oh, I'm going to be making 10K a month in 6 months. That's the worst, I think.
Yeah,
because
I do
like,
agree.
what do you do in month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Like you just said that.
Yeah.
You didn't have a plan for month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you set a 5-year goal, it makes a lot of sense. You first need to get, this traffic avenue set up, and then you need to have this much in fulfillment and this much in distribution. You can't really think out of a 6-month goal because that's naturally just you planning the day to day. So if you know what you're doing, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, the entire week, you have your week set up, you're in a good spot. You know that this is the steps you need to take to get to your long 5-year goal. You can't really predict what's going to happen in 6 months.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure not.
But you're like, in 6 months, my life will be different. Yeah, but what are you doing today? You see what I mean?
That's why
everybody
I'm
says
such
that.
a big believer in daily goals, man. Like
Yeah.
I only really started making progress in my life when I just left the other goals to the side and just started focusing on today. Because like you said, you don't know what's going to happen in 6 months. Let's say you're saying we're going to focus on Twitter traffic. How many times has Reese lost his account, right? We were talking about this earlier. So it's just too risky to be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's better just to have a general direction of we want to make this company huge and then just set goals like today I know I can do this and I can do that and then actually execute on them. And also, I think the reason why I don't like these goals of I want to make 10K a month in 6 months is because it's too output focused. I believe focusing on the input is far superior. You can only control your habits and processes. Let God control the output anyway. Let God control the rest. You don't know if you work your ass off, actually your ass off for 2-3 months. You might be on 10K after 2 months.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think when you just focus too much on a number or a certain goal, I feel like A, you're trying to do God's job for him to a degree, and B, it's like you're just trying to. You can't predict the future. You can only create it, as they say.
Yeah.
Focus on the day to day, bro.
I agree. That brings me to another thing. See, this is good because if you talk with people throughout the day, then you have all this stuff that you think about later. Like we were talking about earlier today. I'm like, I think I'm trying like 30% output. I don't think I'm trying nearly as hard as I can. And it's like, where would I be if I was doing 100%? And it's like, that's crazy because I own a successful supplement company and I'm trying 30%, which means the people that are trying to start an e-com business, they're like, man, I'm working as hard as I can and nothing's working. No, you're not. You're probably trying less hard than me.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? You're trying 15% of your total output. And so it's like, are you really maximizing? And even deeper than that, do you think you're maximizing? Because what you said earlier was like, if you think you're going 100%, then now it destroys your confidence because in your mind, you're trying as hard as you can and nothing's working. So it's like, are you terrible or are you bad? Are you dumb? You know what I mean? And it's like, where's your awareness at? For me, I know we can go harder.
100%, man. I remember when I was in school and say I was studying for an exam. I remember I asked my friends, like, how many hours of revision did you do or studying did you do? They'd be like, oh, bro, I studied for 9 hours. And then in reality, they actually studied 2 hours. I was always that kid who studied for 9 hours. Sorry, they studied for 2 hours, but said they studied for 9 hours. I was always that kid who actually studied for 9 hours, but then said I studied for 2 hours because 7 of those hours weren't perfect and I was harsh on myself. It's way better to be the kind of guy who's harsh on themselves. You're actually trying really hard, but you're saying, I think I'm only operating at 20%.
Yeah.
But these dudes at home, a lot of you guys watching this podcast, you'll think you're really trying hard and you'll be like, why have I not got this big company? Why have I not got this successful income and all this stuff? It's because you're actually not trying, and then you don't realize how little you're trying in comparison to the people who are trying. Anyone watching this podcast, if you tried at 100%, anyone would be a millionaire within a year. I genuinely believe. Now, this is the point, because some people watching this will be like, no way in a year. If you were actually trying your best, like your life depended on it, I really think even the biggest dumbass could go from 0 to $1 million in a year. Because, bro, nowadays with the internet on TikTok, bro, you can do a TikTok live and reach 10,000 people. If your life depended on it, do you not think you'd be moving with such crazy urgency?
Yeah.
Now, it's very hard to get that level of urgency.
I think some people are born with that. I think some people are born with that and some people aren't. Not to say that it's impossible.
I do agree. That's why, again, why environment's so important.
Yeah.
Because, like, you guys go harder because of each other, right?
Yeah.
So all you need to do is just find your people to be around. It helps a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been super urgent. Like, people might not know about my come up story because I don't actually tell this a lot. I don't like giving up a lot of personal details early. I feel like I'm more confident doing it now that we have a successful company. But like, who are you talking about your backstory before you? Not to say that I've made it by any means. I don't even think I'll ever make it. I want to always be working. I'm never going to retire. But when I was a kid, literally starting from like the age of 12 to 13, I was doing things like I would sneak into the gym, even though I wasn't even old enough to have a gym membership. I would do that on a daily basis. I'd memorize when the guy that was going to come off his shift was looking at the gym and monitoring, and like, oh, this other lady comes in who's like super chill, and then she looks away and I walk in. I was doing that every day without my parents' permission, just going, literally leaving my house. Then when I was a little bit older, I was walking to school. Before school, every morning, freezing cold, doesn't matter, raining, doesn't matter, practicing whatever sport I was playing. For a long time it was basketball. Shoot 500 jump shots before school, before training. I've been serious about improving whatever I want to do literally since before puberty. You see what I mean? So I've always been aware of this urgency that you need, but it's crazy because I don't even work as hard now as I used to back then, but it stacks up over time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
You start figuring out how to be more efficient. You know, your tasks get higher leverage. So like a lot of the richest people in the world don't do much. They just like tell this guy to do this, tell this guy to do that, tell this guy, and then they fuck off, right? So it's leverage, it's consistency. How long are you doing it, and what do you do on a daily basis? Is it stacking up? You know, is your business model fulfilling the way you like to operate? You might not be a supplement guy. Like, you don't watch this podcast and get inspired and start trying to sell supplements. If you're fat, you're not a supplement guy. Maybe try to get in shape first. So there's a lot of things that go into it. I do think you need to know, if you're not naturally a very urgent person, get next to somebody that's urgent. I'm for sure the most urgent person on the team with Saber. My job half the time is just being urgent. You know what I mean? I'm not the most creative guy on the team. I'm probably the least most creative guy on the team. Not to say that I'm not creative. I am creative. But when we need stuff created, then I know who we're going to. We're going to Reese. He's going to create it. See what I mean? So, yeah, surrounding yourself with the right people. It's actually priceless. And if you can't surround yourself with the right people, you're probably a bum. Probably. Because it's not that people hate you. Maybe they do, but it's because you don't provide anything back. You don't have anything valuable in conversation. You don't do anything that people are interested in. It is genuinely your fault. I don't think everybody understands that. Like, nobody likes me. You know
It's
what I mean?
true, man. It's true. If everyone doesn't like you, then you have to be the problem.
Yeah.
It's so obvious, but some people just have such an entitled attitude and they think, bro, you know what it is, man? A lot of people think the world is actually against them. I think that is the height of arrogance, to think the whole world, all 8 billion people, are against you.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are you? You're one dude, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's like those girls in the gym who like set up their tripod and they think every dude is looking at them. It's like, if anyone walks into the gym, I'm going to just notice who it is. Like, no one's looking at you unless she's super hot. But most of the time, people are just like, you're glancing around the gym, and then these girls will make a whole TikTok. Like, everyone's looking at me. Yeah. It's like, it's just very, very big arrogance.
It is.
And entitlement, thinking people actually care about them. But if you're watching this podcast and you haven't got the social life you want, you can change it so quickly. If you want to change your income, you can actually change all these things so quickly.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just make a decision you want more and start forcing your will onto the universe and just getting things done every day. Set yourself a list of daily goals. Like, wake up and say, okay, right now I'm a fat fuck. I need to drink 2 liters of water and I need to just walk 20 minutes outside.
Yeah.
Actually just accomplish those 2 daily goals. Then tomorrow maybe set the same goals plus one more thing.
Yeah.
And over time, by like day 30, day 40, you're gonna have some good habits installed into you. And then you can start adding from there. Like, all right, eat this meal of minced beef, you know, go outside, stop consuming so much content, start producing a little, you know, maybe start talking to some girls, maybe stop watching Netflix for 4 hours, maybe put like a app on my phone to reduce how much time I scroll TikTok, or maybe just delete TikTok. Like, all these things will improve your life step by step. I think personally that's one of the biggest mistakes people make, where they try and 180 their life in one go, like that. It's so much better just one thing at a time. Delete TikTok. All right, now you're in a better position. All right, don't buy any more marijuana. Like, if you have a weed problem, just stop buying from your dealer.
Yeah.
All right, put that to the side, and then just step by step, man.
100%. 100%. I do think you can turn it around, but I don't think that everybody should. Like, you could cold turkey if you want, I guess. But that's very important, because this is what I tell a lot of people. Like, a close friend of mine came to me. He's like, yo, here's what I used to look like. I used to be in crazy shape. I was a bit younger, fair, but I want to get back in that shape. Here's what I'm doing. And he goes, I'm cutting my calories down to this much. I'm going to train 6 days a week. I'm going to train 3 hours, and cardio will be, you know, my second workout on these 3 days of the week. And he said, I'm going to walk 15,000 steps a day. I'm like, bro, did you do any push-ups today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's about dopamine, right?
They want to tell you they're doing that.
Right. It's about dopamine, and you need to have control over your mental reward system. Not to get like too scientific, but if you just tell yourself you're going to do 5 push-ups a day, 10 push-ups a day, you're going to think about that first, and you're going to be like, nah, that's too easy. I need something harder. But already right now, you're not doing that, right? But once you get that down every day, now in your mind, you're like, whoa, that's kind of easy. Let me now increase this. And so you're on the right track, and your brain is now chasing the dopamine from 10 push-ups a day, and it wants more. It wants 20 push-ups a day. Well, eventually you'll be at 100, and then you're like, man, screw this. I'm going to go to the gym and do some cardio. Now you've done, 100 push-ups a day and cardio, let's say. Okay, you're cooking now. And the consistency is what matters. If you do a David Goggins level of workout once a month, and then absolutely fuck it the other 29 days of the month, you're going nowhere, bro. You're not doing much. I'd rather you just go on a walk every day. And I'm saying this because, number one, I've been training for a long time. A lot of people come to me for this type of stuff. Number two, I own a supplement company. So a lot of people will try to buy my supplement because they think it's going to change their life. It's actually not going to. You want that for me to be transparent. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, you take this and your life is fixed. No, bro. It's a supplement. It's supplementary. It's not the main thing that you do. You don't take Saber and then now turn into a superhero. It's a major help. It's a major help, right? But like, bro, get in the gym.
It actually makes me laugh that people think that.
Yeah.
People just want shortcuts, man. It's actually funny. But I understand it, right? Because, I mean, it is a good way, I guess, to think about how can we do this efficiently? How can we just change our life instantly? But it just doesn't work like that. You're not just going to instantly just take a pill and then be Arnold Schwarzenegger. And just like how you're not going to instantly watch this podcast and become rich, or become extremely motivated forever. The only way to actually create a lasting change is to one by one build these habits, start changing who you hang out with, stop scrolling so much social media. Like, all these things compound so much. That's why a lot of times when people ask for advice and you give them the most basic advice, they're like, nah, that sounds too easy. The 20 push-ups is too easy.
Yeah.
But that's going to build you to the next level.
Your brain starts chasing the reward.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Instead of just talking about, I'm
starts
going to
seeing
do
wins.
this and that.
Yeah. It's like in basketball, you have to see the ball go in the, so you might be missing a lot, but once you see the ball go in the hoop, something switches in your brain.
A swish sound.
And now you're able to play. It's the same thing when it comes to like doing anything consistently.
For sure.
You make your first sale in e-com. You're like, whoa, this is possible. That doesn't come from saying, okay, I want to do 100K days in e-com. Yeah, so do I, bro. I want to profit 100K a day in e-com. But that's not how you start. You start by chasing the dopamine. The dopamine keeps you going. You start for a week. You hear the Shopify notification. Ching! It's your first one. You're hooked on it now. You're addicted. You want another one. Get another one. Now you've gotten 1 a day. Okay, that's good. 2 a day. Wow. 15, 20. Oh my God. That's how you build it. And I hate people trying to sell like, you'll get rich in 3 months. You don't even want that, bro.
You won't.
Yeah.
You won't. Sometimes people DM me when they're trying to join my group, which is called New Money, and people say, Hassan, am I going to make money in the next 3 months? I'm like, bro, the fact that you even asked me that question, probably not. Like, what kind of guy asked that question? Like, I don't know if you're going to make money in 3 months. And it depends on so many different factors. People say, how long does it take to make money? Well, it actually depends. I think I started making money quite quickly because, when I got kicked out of university, I was already disciplined. I was in good shape in the gym back then. I was very strong-minded. I knew I was humble enough to listen to people who were ahead of me. Like I knew I had all the right things, and I knew whatever it took, I was willing to do. I was willing to learn all these different skills. But most people just want to buy a course and just jump the process, and they're never going to make it. You have to be willing enough to actually just build yourself up step by step by step. Like learn some skills, learn sales, learn marketing. Like you said, Reese is good at these skills, you're good at these skills. But if you had no skills, you'll be useless to each other.
Yeah.
But people want to be rich, they want to be part of the team. They want to network with these millionaires, those millionaires, and they're good at nothing. Like you have to be good at something. Even the cameraman guy I called earlier today, he's like some kid from university here in Dubai, I think. I've never met him yet. We're going to meet him today, I guess. But I don't need him to even, so even his skill is holding the camera and just not annoying me.
Yeah.
You know, like I told him just, I actually had this kid blocked. It's a lesson for you guys watching this at home. Just don't annoy people. If you can just not annoy people and just be an extra pair of hands around, you can actually network with some high level people.
Yeah.
Like even that's a useful skill, just being always available. I say this a lot. If you want to network with people, just be always available. Didn't your cameraman last year in Bali, you guys found him from Twitter. Imagine he said, no, I'm busy. I can't come to Bali. I've got this arrangement. No one cares, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck your arrangement. We need you here.
This is what we did.
So
Tanner, if you're watching this from Twitter, you know Tanner. We're like, okay, he was making memes and putting it under our tweets. We were doing the RNL thing. It was a huge like wave for like we were doing absurd amounts of millions of impressions a day or a week. And he was putting these super funny memes under every one of our tweets. And so we're like, okay, bros, let's just do a whole bunch of IRL content in Bali when we get there in a month or two. But we need somebody to hold the camera 24/7. So we're like, okay, here's the best candidate. We got him on a FaceTime call. We're like, let's see if he looks suspicious. We got him on a FaceTime call. He looked good. We're like, bro, are you down? He goes, it'd be stupid if I turned down this opportunity. I was like, all right, sick. Well, here's your flight. And then he was just there. He didn't go back home for a year. He dropped out of high school. So that's how available he had to be. He had
need to be like that.
one semester left of high school. He did, bro. You grind 18 years to get your diploma, your diploma. He quit on the last couple months before he got his diploma to come to Bali and film content with us. Now he's running his own agency and it's doing good. Lesson.
You need to be like that. Like
Yeah.
you're not always going to get certain opportunities in life, and too many people are trying to be too rational with things all the time, or they're trying to be too calculated. So, for example, a mistake in that situation would have been like, you know what? How much am I going to get paid? What's in it for me? When am I going to come back home? They're going to ask 25 questions. And then if someone asks me those questions, I'll be annoyed. I'll be like, I want to find a new guy. You want the guy who just doesn't ask questions, doesn't question anything. Just like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
When is the flight?
100%.
They hop on the flight, they get there. Then you can start asking questions, figuring out what's going on. Like, what's the worst case scenario? I always say this to people. Too many people are scared to take action. They're scared to start a business. And they're always thinking, what's the worst case scenario? Like, they're not thinking what's the worst case scenario. But that's how I think. I think, what's the worst case scenario if I do X, Y, Z? Nothing. Yeah. I lost a bit of money. I wasted a bit of time. I'm going to waste more time thinking about if it was good or not to do said idea.
Yeah.
Just take more action.
No, I agree. Like I will say, that's basically how the Sabre stuff started, bro. We were all in a group chat, and none of us had met each other before, and we decided to start a business, and we decided to front a bunch of cash into it, and we decided to all move in together before ever meeting each other. Okay, what's the worst that could happen? You have to go back home. All right. Well,
Nothing.
since then we have never been back home. We visit for a couple of days. We do the business every single day. Our life completely changed from one thing. But I could have easily took another route, right? You could have been like, who wants to start a supplement company? I could have been like, I'm not really into it. Okay, well, where would I be right now? Who knows, bro? I could have still been in Houston. Bro, come on. We ended up traveling the entire world, and while running the supplement company, filming IRL content, we have 500 gigabytes of vlog content that Tanner took over the years. Those are crazy stories, every single one of them. I could tell stories right now that would just shock people. Stabbings, fights, and like none of this happened in this city, to be fair. But and it wasn't our fault, but it happened. But it happened. You know what I mean? And that's just from taking action.
Okay, guys, we realize we have 15 minutes left. So what we're going to do, we're going to ask each other some questions and give pretty quick fire responses, maybe a couple sentences or something like that. So first question for you, Pierre. Would you recommend everyone travel in their early 20s, even if they haven't got that much money?
No, actually. So we did a whole bunch of traveling in the year. I'm so sick of it. Why? Because I can't have things. I have to only carry stuff that can fit in my suitcase. What you should do is move to a good city. Dubai, Miami, maybe it's Bali for you. Set up there, get your business going, and then you could take vacations when you have the time and when your business is flowing. I actually don't think you should travel that much. It's annoying. How am I supposed to set up my stuff? I can't. You know what I mean? I need a desk. I need to have connections, but I'm in another city, and then I have to pay another B&B, and then I have to make new friends. I want to be a mogul in a place. You know what I mean? For you, I'd say if you were talking to yourself before you had any idea of what to do, what would be, let's say, either the business model or the number one piece of advice you would give yourself to get started? Your goal when you're talking to your younger self is to get you where you're at currently much faster than you got here.
Yeah, it'd be two things. Number one, only set yourself daily goals. Like, forget tomorrow. Tomorrow, it does actually not exist. I can talk about this in another podcast. It's a long point, but tomorrow actually is not real. So only focus on today. Only focus on today. And number two, just do everything so much quicker. I know I always say this, but even if you think you're quick, there's a quicker level. Like, you might be a quick runner, you're athletic, but Usain Bolt's quicker. You know, it's like there's always that quicker level. So just be a madman. Do more, think less. Don't overthink anything. Just run at every problem.
Yeah.
That would 100% have got me to where I wanted to be quicker.
Okay, sick.
Question for you. Yeah, boys, we're going to make this quick fire. So
Yeah.
a couple sentences. Next question. Would you rather live in Bali? Okay, let me rephrase this question. If you could go back in time, would you have done Bali again? Or would you have just set up base in Houston, America? We were talking earlier, Dubai, Marbella, wherever.
Okay, I would never take back the year that we did in Bali because we did so much. We were pushing the pace in Bali at a level that would probably kill most people. We would have fight one day, party the next day. I'd wake up in an alleyway the day after that. Then after that, we're taking a trip and we're going rafting. We're recording the entire thing. Podcast the day after that. Hassan flies in the day after that. I would be sick with the flu, with 103-degree fever, and we were still pushing the pace every single day. I have a fight under my belt because of that, right? I've met these boys because of that. We had it's more freedom there, but you don't really want freedom. You can get freedom in any city, but Bali gives freedom to anybody. Yeah. You want to buy your freedom in a tier 1 city. You want to be him here. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't take it away, but I would never spend more than like a year or a year and a half in a city like that.
So that's what I was going to say. Next little question on top of that would be, would you have spent as long or maybe a couple months less?
I think
do you think you could have got the same memories in 4 months? Or you need the year and a half? How long were you there for?
A year. I was there for 11 months,
basically. Do you need to be there for 11 months or could you not do the same thing in 4 months? Because I went to Bali for 2 months and we were saying to the boys after, we were saying, truthfully, we could have been there for a month and have the same memories as 2 months. Like you can force the pace more and fit it in less time. Yeah. Do you think you need to be there for 11 months or is it not too big a video?
I think you could have done everything that we did in 6 or 7 months, probably. But you know, it takes time to set up where you want to go next.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Bali's a trap too. Like there's like clubs, bars, cheap food, cheap, you know, women everywhere. So it's like you don't just leave. It's like sucking you in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'll say to you, what do you think about like how worth it? Let's say you have 200K, okay, and you sell an info business, which means it's very like low expenses.
Okay.
Would you invest that 200K, let's say, in your own appearance or maybe in your own knowledge, or would you rather invest that into like capital, people, or whatever the case? Like, would you want to buy a watch now you look better in your content, or would you rather say, okay, let's see if we can try to pour this into like ads scale? What do you think is a bigger lever? When you have a set amount of cash, what's the biggest lever?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, you said the number a couple 100K, so 200K. Yeah. It does depend how much money you have 100%. And I'm someone with a lot of watches, a lot of supercars. I honestly would say the best investment is people and things. For example, like having a nice apartment, having a nice desk, having a cleaner, having a maid, these things. Like, obviously, you want to be in the position where you can do both. Like, I'm fortunate now I can do both. But if I had to choose, 100% get a maid, cleaner, these things, like some kind of assistant, someone helping you with things. Like my brother helps me with a lot of different tasks. So that's super important because truthfully, whether you have a gold AP or you're rocking no watch, it doesn't actually matter. Like, it's not really going to affect your sales as much as people think. I think one thing that does affect your sales quite a lot in the info space is a supercar. But I have 6 supercars, 2 Lambos, 2 Ferraris, McLaren, and a Porsche. 1 Lambo was more than enough. Like, you don't need to overkill it like I did. But watches are completely not needed. That makes no difference. In fact, it's much better to not have a watch and spend that money on cool flights and traveling and going cool places, meeting people, booking a podcast studio, paying for ads, paying for a content guy, short form clippers, distribution. I've spoken to many people and they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on distribution, making their name more known. So that's probably the best investment. It's something I need to get onto.
Okay, sweet.
Question for you. Do you think it's better to be a really good fighter, or do you think it's better to be in really good shape if you had to choose one? And you can answer that question how you want, because I could have asked it in another way as well.
Yeah.
Answer it how you want.
So what I'll say about that is I think there's more ROI quicker in being a fitness guy because it's valuable for video. You can be a fighter and nobody will know you're really a fighter unless you tell them, number one. Number two, it's much harder to be a fighter. I did a couple years of Muay Thai and I did so much boxing in the year of 2024. You wouldn't understand how much boxing I did. I didn't miss a day of boxing in 2024. And most days I was doing it more than once. Out of that, I don't feel like it served me very well in the physical world. I feel like my mindset definitely elevated. Like I got to compete and break another man's will in front of all the people that love him on camera, right?
That's funny.
You can't take that away. You can't take that away. That's mentally in my head forever. But you know, how does that generate versus now I've gained like 10, 15 pounds quick, posted physique a couple times on Twitter. This is how I did it. 500K views and instantly cash comes in. I walk into a building, they can see my physique right away. They can't see that I fight right away. Other people that fight can see that I fought before. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you're in a position where you have a bunch of resources and you want to do like promotion and fight other influencers, then yeah, you're not gonna have a lift off with another influencer. That's not how it works.
You could.
Maybe
That could be a thing.
if that's what you want to do.
For sure.
But fighting, what I will say, is the most memorable thing you can do. David and Goliath. David was a king. He was one of the greatest kings in history. This is a biblical story. But you only remember him because he beat the Goliath and he took Goliath's head off and he was the short guy that beat Goliath. So you remember him for a fight. Mm-hmm. Fights are memorable. So if you want to market something, it's really easy to market a fight. Most people aren't in a position to market fights. They have to do other stuff. So yeah, that's my answer on that.
For the average dude, 100% gym is the best ROI.
Yeah.
You know? But then again, I would say this. If you're actually quite physically strong and you've done some fighting and done some sparring before, doing a bit more isn't necessarily going to change your life. But most people watching this at home actually haven't sparred quite a lot. We have.
Yeah.
So for them, I'd actually say doing a bit of fighting would change their life. Because most people walk into a room, they're very insecure around most people.
Yeah.
And I think I would be as well if I've never done any sparring, whenever, you know. So I think for a lot of people watching, you should actually do both. But yeah, Pierre's answer was good. I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, your question?
Yeah.
Your question.
Okay, if you could have 100,000 followers extra on any platform that you're on right now, which platform would it be and why would it be that platform?
So yeah, I've got 120. Yeah, I'd say YouTube. Because with Twitter, even though Twitter's great, it's my biggest platform right now. I have 128,000 on Twitter. The thing with Twitter is not everyone like sees your face, sees the way you speak. They just see your words initially if you do a lot of written tweets. Whereas YouTube, every single person who subscribes to you sees your face, sees the way you speak, probably knows a bit about my lifestyle, knows who I am. They actually like me. Twitter, they might follow me. They might not actually like me that much because they just saw 2 tweets they did like. Then they see 10 other tweets from me. They're like, I don't like this guy. Whereas with YouTube, if they subscribe to you, very, very rarely do they unsubscribe to you because they actually liked you when they clicked follow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It's a different level of trust. So YouTube. My question for you would be, so this is like your main time coming to, I think you've been to Dubai once, you said before.
Yeah, for a day. I just walked around, saw a couple things and left. I was there for a long layover, but I just booked a hotel and stayed a day.
All right, being here so far today, you've only been here for now just over 12 hours. Do you like it more than you thought you would?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of hype around trashing this city, but I actually think it's a really, really nice city. So here's the thing. When I stayed in Bali, I really liked the fact that labor was cheap. And you might look at me like, why do you like cheap labor? When you like cheap labor, you get stuff quicker. It's not about what you pay. When labor is more expensive, workers are more lazy. So in Bali, you can get anything from the pharmacy delivered to you in 1 hour, okay? It's similar here. The difference is Bali is trash. There's trash burning on the street at all times. And Dubai is a clean city that's very safe with lots of wealthy people in it. So the fact that you get the accessibility of stuff in Dubai, I need groceries, done. I need my car valet, done. I need, whatever from the pharmacy, done. It's all there. And then you also have the tallest building in the world, one of the nicest gyms, the biggest mall ever, and a bunch of other successful people and wealthy people around you. You can't replace that. There are points about Dubai that's like, okay, this isn't good. Yeah, you're not gonna find the perfect place on the plane.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as a perfect place. It's plus minus.
Yeah.
And if you're wealthy enough to really function in a place like Dubai, then just spend some time outside of Dubai every now and then, and you're good. I really like the city. I do.
100%. Yeah, I think way too many people, they just don't understand that principle of, there's no light without dark. There's no joy without pain. There's no, there's always going to be some pros and some cons. Even with people as well, you can have a great employee. There's going to be something about them that's not perfect. Same thing even with friends. You're not going to like every single last thing about a friend. Something he's going to do is going to annoy you one time. He'll annoy you in 2 years. Like, it's normal.
Yeah.
People like to complain about Dubai just because it's a trending thing, I guess.
Yeah. Would you recommend people to move to Dubai if, let's say, they just started their freelance business or whatever they're doing? Let's say they're making total between 3 to 5K a month. That's like a beginner milestone for a lot of people. Would you recommend them to move here?
Where are they living at the moment, or does it not matter?
Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah, I would recommend them to move here because you're going to be around more ambitious people. You're going to grow more in this city than you would if, let's say, you were in Bali or let's say you were in Australia surfing with random people. Yeah, I think it's one of the best cities to just grow and dream bigger and think bigger. So, yeah, and the thing is, you can actually live in Dubai for a few thousand a month. You might not think it, but you can get an apartment for some, just outside the main areas for, let's say, 1,000 a month, especially if you make 5K. Then you have $4,000 left for food, can be super cheap every day. And you don't want to go out that much at the house anyway because you're locked in. So, yeah, I think 5K definitely, you can actually start living an okay, decent life here. Taxis are incredibly cheap. Like you said, you can order groceries from home. You don't even have to leave the house. I think if you're on 5K a month here and you actually wanted to scale up, you can get to 50K a month quite quick just with how accessible everything is.
Yeah.
It's just such an awake city. It's always awake. I feel like I'm a Dubai.
Yeah.
I'm promoting at this point, but no, it's just such a good city. It's changed my life as well, just how easy it is to be. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure. The Gucci store closes at 1 a.m. or something. Like, that's insane. We're in Marbella right now, me and the boys, and the store isn't even open on Sunday. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
So it's a little slow. Like, that's the Mediterranean lifestyle. Everybody sleeps during the day or whatever. Well, but yeah.
Okay, Pia, next question for you. How would you say someone can grow their own social media brand? How would you go about it? If you're watching this podcast right now, they want to grow their brand, they're not too sure how to do it. Do they try and do exactly what you do? Do they try and do exactly what I do? Do they fake it till they make it? Do they lie to get views? Do they act like a clown? What's the strategy?
Yeah. I actually think this is extremely easy. And it's funny because I only have 10,000 followers on Twitter. But I feel like every time I want to grow my page, I can just spawn in 1,000 followers. I actually think it's super easy. We're facilitating millions of views across all the other platforms right now, too. What I'll say is this. If you look at any successful venture currently, it all comes down to being able to entertain, right? So who's pulling the biggest draws in combat sports? Is it the best fighters? No, it's the best entertainers. Who's pulling the best numbers on YouTube, any channel? Is it the person that's giving the best knowledge? No, it's the person that's entertaining the best. So if you have the ability to entertain, what I recommend is mixing it with good visuals, right? So my views went up instantly just because I got more jacked. Literally, I just posted a picture of me after gym in the mirror. Boom. I think I did 3,000 followers in like a week and a half. And it's crazy because I'd stalled out a little bit before that. I wasn't taking it super serious.
That's
I was
super
super
good.
busy with Sabre, yeah. And I just did, and it was literally just because like I just got jacked. Here's how I did it. It's the visual, right? They see you super jacked, super lean. You take care of yourself, whatever. And then you're also being entertaining. That's what you need. Old Twitter, old Instagram, even old YouTube, you used to be able to get up and go, here's 3 steps how to become richer. And then people will be like, oh, wow, I'm super interested. That's all gone. You need to be able to entertain and you need to look like you've got it. We kind of covered that in a different way earlier.
Yeah, I think it honestly comes down to how much do other people want to be like you. If you look at the top content creators on the internet, I think, a lot of them have things other people want. Whether we were talking about Sam Sulek earlier today, right? We were saying, people think he's relatable, he's this Mr. Nice Guy, but at the end of the day, loads of people follow him because he's huge and they want to be big like him. So the more others want to emulate you, the easier it is to grow on social media. The reason why you instantly gain more followers because you got leaner, bigger, all that kind of stuff is because people want that for themselves.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally what it comes down to. When people see you have a Ferrari, they like following you because they want a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And the more things you have like that, the more assets, the more you grow. The more Ferraris, the more muscles, the more interesting stories, the more you travel, the more cool pictures with your friends. Like, what does everyone want? Muscles, friends, love, money, traveling, experiences, adventure. freedom, comfort, all these things.
Yeah.
The more you can show of that, the more you'll grow, I think.
Here's a question for you, which I think a lot of people will be curious about. So you have two paths in the way I see it. Whenever you're trying to grow as a man or whatever, I hate those three words, but whatever, it is what it is. You have like the family man archetype. You'll have like a lot of billionaires where they're like, the best thing I ever did is pick the right woman, have a bunch of kids. They motivated me to go farther. And then you could look at somebody like PBD. You know Patrick Bet-David?
Yep.
I don't know how you feel about him. Don't really care. He has like 5 kids or something. And then you have like with one woman. And then you have like Tate, who's running amok. And he's like, here, supercars, parties, Europe, North America. It doesn't matter. He's everywhere. And it's like, well, he's mobile, so maybe he has more time to focus on himself. Which way do you think is ideal? Which way would you tell most people to go? Let's say different things work for different people, but if you were just talking to the general population, and why?
This is the thing. It's a good question. It's actually a question I don't know the answer to. I actually see the pros and cons of both paths. I actually don't know. A lot of people say they need a girl to motivate them. They need a girl to keep them grounded. Without a girl, they lose their ambition. Or when they have a kid, they're more motivated. I don't have a kid at the moment, but I think if I had a kid, I can't see myself being more motivated or less motivated. I'm the same. I've always been very self-driven. So I actually don't know is the best answer. I don't want to sit here and just talk about one thing with conviction, which I'm not actually sure. What I will say for most people, I think most people aren't as self-driven as me. I think that's quite fair to say. I'm 25 right now, I'm a multi-millionaire, and I think, most people in general have less ambition than me. So maybe for them, having a kid will motivate them more. But what I will say is, I personally think most people, I think they're going to be less ambitious when they have a kid and a wife, because it's just more responsibilities, more bills. Let's say your company right now, we were talking about it earlier today. If you make X amount of money from your company, you don't want to just go and buy brand new Gucci. You'd rather buy inventory, you'd rather invest it into the company and grow the company. If you have kids and a wife, she wants presents, the kid wants gifts, the kid needs clothes. It's just more money going out of the company for your family. And at the beginning, when you're trying to chase your dreams, ideally you want to put all your energy, time, money, all your resources, energy, time, money, into the business, into yourself. So I think most people, it's very hard for them to get rich and successful after they've got a family. If they've not been able to make it before a family, I think it is very hard after they've got a family. Not guys like us would always be all right, but most people, I can only see them regressing when they have a family.
Yeah.
Because you have less time for yourself. If you couldn't organize your life, you couldn't organize everything by yourself. Now you've got other people to manage. Now you have other emotions to deal with. A lot of people think they're going to be more driven, but most people, I think, are less driven.
Yeah.
More time with their daughter, watching TV, going to watch random football games, more bedtime stories. So I always say to guys who follow me, I'm like, this is the best time to get rich. And one thing for sure is you definitely have the most time for yourself. You have the least responsibility. So run it up now, man. You wouldn't have gone to Bali if you had 3 kids to look after.
Yeah,
How
no,
could you?
definitely not.
Put the 3 kids in the villa when you're sleeping in an alley? Like, what the fuck? So, some things have to just come in seasons. And I think if you want to travel the world, you want to be crazy, you want to date a lot of girls, you want to create loads of stories, I think you shouldn't wait until you're 41, because those days aren't going to come.
Yeah, I agree. I do think there's a plus and minus though. Like for sure, you don't want to be trying to start a family when you're 42 because you want to cram a bunch of experiences in.
Sure.
I think okay, you're doing, let's say 10, 20K a month. You're at a decent place. You're 29. All right, now you start looking at stuff you've experienced. You know what I mean? Definitely don't try to start a family when you're 20, and definitely don't try to start a family when you're 42. Like there's definitely a min-max. Depends on who you are. Do you need motivation?
Everyone has a different answer on that. It really depends on your goals.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to be the best guitar player in the world, then your life goals and your life path is going to be different than if you want to make 10K a month and then just fuck some girls after the club. Like it just depends what you want out of life.
Yeah, true.
Even that whole work-life balance topic, right? Depending on how big your goals are going to affect your work-life balance. If you want to make $100 million company, you're going to have less work-life balance than someone who wants to make 7K a month and have very low stress, great sleep schedule.
Yeah.
You're trying to make a $100 million company. Sometimes you have a bit of low sleep. Sometimes you're going to be stressed. Sometimes people are going to betray you. Things are going to go wrong. It's just all part of the
100%.
game. But anyway, boys, I think that's the end of the podcast. Great podcast, bro.
Great podcast.
Guys,
great talking to you.
follow his stuff in the description. We're going to put it there. And obviously subscribe to the channel. Lots more good videos like this coming soon.
Yes,
Any
sir.
closing thoughts, bro? You want to?
Nothing at all besides sabersupplements.com. We have a beautiful stack. Go get that if you want. Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to experience the city, bro.
Awesome, boys. See you in a bit.